I'm still waiting for Twitch to tell me that I'm actually live, but I think I'm good to go. And one of my great loves of Mode 7 games are that the music is so wonderful, and I also notice that it's always a struggle to try and get it perfectly balanced on stream. So, hello everybody. Some of you might have been wondering where I've been the last little while, and I will ask myself the same question. So I will start, first thing I will start with, because I think normally if you're not required to, it's at least a good idea to explain these things. I owe a very big apology to Mode 7 Games, because they gave me a key for this game, basically on release. And I did that little small stream where I did the tutorial, mostly just because I wanted to capture some of the first impressions. And the intention was, there was going to be one casting day between that and when I played the game, where I'd said that I would do Mass Effect. And then the plan was to do a lot of Frozen Synapse 2. And then everything fell apart. So last week, it was more just a personal thing, but on Monday I couldn't broadcast. I'm actually trying to remember exactly what happened over all the days. Right, okay, so Monday I had my own issues to deal with, and the cast couldn't happen. So that was the original plan for cast. So if I couldn't do it on the weekend, which I normally can, hey HJVT, I'm just doing a quick recap of where I've been, but thank you for stopping by. I'm somewhat doubting whether or not any living souls will ever show up to my broadcast again. But yeah, so Monday, purely personal reasons, but ones that were serious enough to have to not broadcast. And Wednesday was a planned absence, but one that maybe wasn't as apparent because normally I have the one cast before to explain to people, or at least remind them about what's going on. But there's a local game, sort of game development collective called Dirty Rectangles, which I like to attend. And always there's really interesting games that are being made, things that you probably wouldn't have heard of, but things that, I don't know, I like to support where I can, or at the very least, I like to see what people are doing, because even though I am not a game developer myself, I found it very rewarding to engage in a deeper way with the people who make games and sort of understand what goes behind them, and particularly small games. That's one of the reasons why I found and really fell in love with Cultist Simulator, other than the fact that it's such a good game, obviously. So that was a planned absence. And then Friday, it sounded like the world was coming to an end outside my office, but because I'm on rotation in another division, I've got sort of a desk which is in the middle of a floor. I can't actually see what's going on outside. And the lights start sort of flickering, and I'm thinking to myself, probably the stream is not going to work out, but let's see where it goes. And then right around the time I'm getting ready to finish a project, because this is always the time that these things happen, the power goes out in the building. And this is a government building. It's there's work being done here of, some importance, though perhaps not like national. The country will be fine if I don't if autosave doesn't recover what I was working on. So I hang around for a little while to see if I can recover this thing, because somebody is actually waiting for this report. And then I think I give it like half an hour, and I'm like, well, this is clearly not going to work. Now, unbeknownst to me at the time, there was a warning, but what happened was there were 2 tornadoes that touched down, and one of them severely damaged a transformer. And so I have been without power from basically Friday to early morning yesterday. And so I was obviously tweeting. Not the entire city was not taken out in terms of power, but I think the biggest appreciation that I gained was for the game, This War of Mine. Like I like the game a lot, and obviously I think it's a really important subject and all of that. But there's something really interesting when you're used to power outages being something where like you go out for dinner and you come back and maybe you go to sleep, but you somewhat rely on the fact that the power comes back on, and maybe it's just your block. But like once I hit the 24-hour level, I'm kind of like, I don't really know where dinner's coming from. And then like I knew some areas in the city where there was power. So, but I'm walking through and like there's no street lights, there's nothing. It's pure black. And then, now I'm starting to consider like, well, the only thing that I can use for knowledge of the outside world right now is my phone. So where am I going to find a way to charge my phone? And of course, everybody in the city that doesn't have power is also thinking about this. So, yeah, it was very interesting. I mean, again, I don't want to. The reason why I say This War of Mine, like, I don't want to compare at all to what happens there. But what I think is so interesting is that you have this very abstract concept of what a survival game or what survival in that situation is like, and the power of a game like This War of Mine is that because you can relate to it at that game level, they're able to describe something that really happened. Or at least, it is based on an episode of history. Perhaps the individual story inside of it didn't happen, but something very much like that did. And of course, I can appreciate it on that abstract level, but it's very, very interesting to hit that threshold of sort of like, I don't know when the power is coming back, and all of a sudden, I'm not so sure about where I'm getting certain things that I've been able to rely on and then, I'm starting to look at my battery as like, how long can I string this thing out to make sure that I'm sort of aware of the next batch of information that I can get. And I haven't played Fallout, so I don't actually know how to survive in a post-apocalyptic waste. So that was interesting. I mean, again, I was out without power for a relatively short period of time. So, but it was enough to kind of give me a taste for a situation that's unfortunately very real for a lot of people. So I can't say that I'm happy that it happened, but it was a really unique experience from which I could sort of draw some inferences that were interesting, I guess is the touristy way of putting it. Anyway, so with all of that in mind, I am sorry I was not broadcasting. Clearly, some of this was out of my control, and then some of these were decisions that were made ahead of time. But the most direct way that this has manifested itself is a game where I'd sort of made this commitment to covering it for a certain amount. I mean, like, it's an implied commitment, but I really like Frozen Synapse, and I really like this sequel. I have not played it a lot, but I feel really bad because obviously that early period is fine. Now, like, the game seems to have done well without me, so nobody is surprised about that. But I really do, if I ask for a key or I accept a key, I really do make an effort to do my best with it. And in this case, I really dropped the ball. So in exchange, I hope that you guys will be able to enjoy Frozen Synapse sort of after it's a known quantity. So I'm going to start a brand new city game. There's a couple of things that I'm a little unclear on right now, but I'm just going to go through the options again just to see where we're going. I think I understand the combat a little bit better than I did on Thursday when I was messing around with it, but I'm not going to do easy mode, although I may wind up reloading a lot. I don't want to disable the story missions. I'm definitely not doing Iron Man. Oh, sure. I'm sorry, HJVT. I shouldn't have babbled as much. I really appreciate you stopping by. The schedule should be back and on track. So if you like the Elder Scrolls stuff that I'm doing, we've got a new episode of that will be coming on tomorrow. and then Wednesday and Friday we'll be back to usual. So I'm sorry, I shouldn't have taken so much time talking about that, but I hope you have a wonderful evening. If you want to see some Frozen Synapse, obviously the VOD will be up, and I'll put it on YouTube within 48 hours. And I'll catch you next time. Thank you very much for stopping by, though. It's actually nice to have people saying, yes, I'm still interested in your content, because you usually wind up losing a lot of followers when you don't stream for a week, so thank you. Okay, 2 tactics mode. The player can have a maximum of 2 VAT forms in there. So I think this is something to make it more difficult for me to play, not all of the missions only have 2. Dark mode is interesting, but I'm not smart enough to do that yet, and I'm definitely not good enough for insane mode. So yeah, all of these things are not things I want to start off with. Cool, I'm looking forward to this. Warning for those of you who are fans of Frozen Synapse 2, I wanted to capture most of my early time in the game. Welcome back to Markov Geist. 7 years ago, the shapeform entity Charon's Palm destroyed itself, along with the ruling Neo Nomad Corporation. The event became known as the Realization. Perhaps that means nothing to you. The city was splintered, and its pervasive network, the Shape, began to fray. Some of Markov's population became reacquainted with scarcity and displacement, their comfortable technology disintegrating around them. For many, the Realization was simply a reconfiguration of a familiar trial. Forged from an awakened alloy of ambition and compromise, the hastily assembled Markov Geist Municipal Council set about reconstruction. The result was an algorithmic reformation. Buildings argue against buildings, jostling with anger and idealism, unspeakable wealth and poverty running through the tumult of traffic, momentary joy and fragmented disputes, powerful factions exerting their dominance through paramilitary posturing. Now the city faces an uncertain future, complicated by the arrival of a new threat. You'll come to understand its meaning. As for me, I didn't come to Markov Geist to save it. I came because I was called. Okay, let's start with some customization. So as I was saying, for those of you who are fans of this game, this may be a little bit of a disappointment, because I really am learning, and I do want to, my usual thing is that I want to learn on my own, excuse me, which means that I'm not really fond of backseating and such, but that also means that I'll be making a lot of mistakes, which I know people who are fans of games don't like to see. For those of you wanting to see what this is like, I am really looking forward to this, because I loved the original game, and this one has a really neat take with a couple of things that I don't quite understand that well yet. I'm going to do the interface tutorial again just to give myself a refresher, but I thought I would do some work on the faction, so we'll call it the system block. Alright. Right, before we get down to business, let's do some basic orientation. To move the map, hold down the right mouse button and move the mouse. Please use the mouse wheel to zoom the camera in and out. Alternatively, you can use the M and N keys on your keyboard. You can probably manage that, can't you? Hold down the middle mouse button or the mouse wheel and move the mouse to tilt the camera. Press N to skip if you have no middle mouse button. Oh, well, I do. It's a very handsome looking map, by the way. I've always looked at it sort of from top down, but this is cool. In the bottom right of the screen is the shortcuts window. This allows you to locate important things with ease and rapidity. Click on the Sys HQ to zoom into your HQ. This is the delightful selected location window. You can use it to see details of the current building or squad, as well as any objects that may be present. Slam the next button directly underneath this text to continue. Yeah, that is exactly what backseat gaming is, and it is not permitted. Now that you've achieved basic functionality, I have a call coming through from our illustrious leader. Hello, Alexander. My name is Dominic Mettern. I am chairman of the Markov-Geist Municipal Council. We try to keep the wheels from falling off. You'll be reporting directly to me. We don't normally use freelancers, but you come highly recommended. I know you've been around for a little while. Your record during Icevex and Torpor Consequence speaks for itself. We've hired you to mount an emergency response to a force that our analysts have termed Sonata. You'll be required to send your military assets to any incursions, investigate, and protect the population. System Block has been established to give you some significant autonomy from the Council. Aside from your responsibilities around incursions, you may act according to your own discretion. The MGMC does not have the resources to fully support an operation on this scale. Therefore, we've secured partial funding for your activities from the city's districts and other major factions. In return for this, you will also be required to maintain a general security force, keep faction activity in check, keep the peace. Sonata's present has been accompanied by the appearance of powerful objects known as relics. You can recover these from incursion sites, and we will make use of them to generate revenue and enhance our ability to support VAT4 mercenaries. Many of their properties are currently unknown. We are continuing to investigate. Good luck. I look forward to working with you. Let's take a look at the map views in the top right. Click on each one to activate it. Shape Control shows the area where factions have influence. Local militia are more likely to fight for a faction in those areas. District shows some information about the various city districts. Set it back to normal and click next when you're done. Just getting a quick idea about what's going on with... This is one of the things that I really like about this game, is that there's a lot that's going on in terms of all the factions and such, but because I never finished the original Frozen Synapse, I sometimes have a little difficulty kind of keeping track of it all, so... In order to wait for the next incursion, we must start advancing time. Press the play button in the bottom left of the screen. This is a useful button. Once you've set up an action, you'll need to press it to get things moving. Don't forget to do that, okay? Okay. Requesting immediate assistance with a Sonata incursion in Grey Line South. That was the district governor, Alexander. We'll need to send the squad over there and deploy immediately. The districts may dock your funding if you respond too slowly to incursions. Time to show what you're really made of. Well, other than globulous flesh, that is. Alright, important events will pause the game and bring up the action token to give you information and shortcuts to likely actions. Red ones are critical. You'll have to deal with them before moving on. You can ignore the others if you want. Sonata is locating relics and then sending squads out to collect them. Luckily, we have the tech to detect those incursions, so we don't get a load of idiotic factions in our face the whole time. You'll need to send a squad over there to deal with it. Click on the small magnifying glass option. Okay. I moved over there. We'll never know where the incursions are going to land, so eventually we'll need to improve our coverage of the entire city. Conveniently, this incursion is pretty close to us, so let's try and get to it. Click on Send Squad down there at the bottom left. We currently have 2 squads of VAT-form soldiers, however I'm just showing you the important one here, as the other is at home defending our HQ. Click on Strike Team on the right-hand side of the screen. Which button should we press next? That's right, it's the play button. Give it a whack and watch them make their way to the incursion from our HQ while we remain comfortably at home. And we'll obviously get the most dramatically appropriate angle. Would you like me to run through our tactical systems? I hear you've been out of the loop for a while. I think I will skip the combat tutorial. Our strike team is about to arrive at the incursion and requires orders. You really don't want to see what it looks like when they make their own decisions. Click the Give Orders button on the red action token in the bottom left. In general, you'll have a variety of options when a squad reaches a node. we're not here to make pancakes, so let's click on the attack incursion. Looks like most of these guys have pistols, so that's fairly good news for me, I think. Alright, and I definitely remember this mission from last time, so... I'm told that they just appeared from nowhere and started threatening people. We did our best to evacuate. Alexander, the Sonata units have activated this building's lockdown system. The dark red areas on your display are locked doors, whereas the red light beams represent the ballistics grid that is defending the windows. When the building is in this state, units cannot enter, fire through windows, or destroy the walls with rockets. To gain entry, you need to move a unit to a rectangular unlock zone here. Or here. Our techs will connect to the VAT form in the zone and hack the lockdown system via its shape interface. The building will unlock on your next turn. The zone will turn green when you've activated it. You can deploy units in this mission. This just means that I'll handle getting them to a specific point for you, as long as it's safe. Look on the left-hand side of the screen. You can click the units in the deployment plane and drop them onto the playfield. You can also drag them around. You can't place units in an enemy's line of sight, and sometimes there will be other restrictions. Watch out for warnings at the bottom of the screen. Once you place them, you can make a plan for them in the same turn. That guard outside isn't aware of your presence, and I can predict his moves. That's what the circle around him means. Just press play and test a turn to see where he'll go. You won't be able to do that with enemies once they figure out you're there. If you get confused about something, try the info button in the top right. Now go and kill things. Okay, so I'm going to try something a little bit different this time around. I also know this is a relatively straightforward mission, so we're going to take this guy. I keep trying to use WASD to move around, so I'm trying to... Basically what I want to try and do is... also my mouse wheel is not really friendly to this game, so... yeah, so the plan is going to be, I'm going to try and get this guy to take out the guard. Unit number 2 is going to hide around the... Actually... Yeah, we'll get him here. I'm just a little curious. So first thing that I'm going to do... mostly, the one thing that I want to do with this... I want to get a little bit more practice in terms of coordinating my teams. So one thing I'd like to do right now is just see what this guy's patrol route looks like, and what I'm looking at in terms of being able to kind of coordinate my actions. So... Interesting. So I can open... Alright, I'm actually going to try this. I'm going to open the doors. No. I think he's going to be... So it's going to take... That's going to take a while, but... That's not quite what I wanted him to do. Not exactly the efficiency I was looking for, but... I'll live with this. So the idea is basically going to be that this guy's going to go through all the windows while this guy moves into the building. detecting a high-intensity propagation of a high-intensity propagation geometric luminescence interface signature distributed orthogonal to the locus at 2840. Sorry, I meant to say, ooh, look at the shiny thing over there. It's a relic. You don't need to pick it up. Our soldiers will grab that after you've eliminated the Sonata units. Okay, so the nice thing here is that I don't need to worry so much about range. So I'm pretty sure I can't take this guy out on my own here. But I do know that in general, the hostilities are going to be coming from that area. So let's say, I'm going to keep it like that. At this point, the aim should be so they're likely gonna hole up in here. The big thing that I want to worry about now is, so let's say that guy starts focusing on the door. I'm pretty sure I get blown away. Oh no, okay, the game's really the game is astonishingly unfair to the AI. Good news for me, I guess. So, if I were the red guy, are there any other things that I can do to try and get out of this? Yeah, apparently it just doesn't give the AI even a slight chance. So again, this is where range sort of plays to my advantage, so we'll cancel the aim. I'm going to be a little more precise on this one. I'm going to go just generally in this area, and then because this is going to be covered pretty much right away, we'll go... Actually, we'll delete everything. We'll start with a cancel aim. And we're basically just going to go around the building like this. So let's say, you know, they run into here for safety. I mean, obviously they can duck. But looks like my guy's gonna take his sweet time to do that, so this may not actually be an effective method, but
System prime.
We'll see how it goes. Okay, they both ran.
Hostile neutralized.
Yeah, so I mean, we're pretty much closing in.
System
I think
prime.
that'll be sufficient.
Hostile neutralized. You are victorious.
Good job, you've eliminated the threat. Any objects in the areas you've unlocked will automatically be picked up. Nice one. Disconnecting now. Click on End Mission at the bottom to end the mission. One thing I do kind of wish... I may just simply not have identified it, but I remember one thing I really liked about Frozen Cortex and Frozen Synapse 1 was the fact that you could do like a full replay and see everything play out in real time. I always found that really interesting. Excellent work. We've captured some loot and now we need to get it back to home base. The interface gives us a shortcut to send our squad home, but let's do it manually this time. Select our HQ, which should be visible on the map, either by the building itself or its label. If you've got lost, use the shortcut on the bottom right-hand pane again. Now click on the Interact button on the selected object window. Now click Send the Squad here, and select Strike Team. Let's advance time so the squad can get back to HQ. Press the play button. We've retrieved an item that can be installed at our HQ. You can see the action token has appeared, allowing you to do this. All of these actions are available from the Interact menu. Install everything here. Once a relic has been installed in a base, it can't be taken by another faction. The installation process takes a while though, so a relic can still be grabbed during this time. Installing relics and completing contracts encourages companies to license their VAT form mercenaries to us. Click on the Merc Market button in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. I've highlighted it for you. Select the mercenary you like the look of. So I'm tempted for... I think an assault is a little too much. Let's try an SMG. Yes, they look extremely dashing and efficient. Click on Sign Mercenary. The SMG unit is mid-range combat VAT form. It is not especially accurate and is largely considered inferior to the assault rifle, but in the right situation it can provide useful support. So this is somebody that I would have had doing, unit number 2 kind of went inside and ran through what I assume was the kitchen and such. I probably would have gotten Daryl SMG for the job. Let's add them to your strike team. The arrow button the arrow button on the correct squad or add merc to squad button will put them where they need to be. Now return to the main menu by clicking on the globe icon in the bottom right. I'm going to leave you on your own soon, you'll be glad to hear. If you want further help, I recommend activating the help mode by selecting the question mark at the bottom right. This will bring up some quick help for each of the screens you can access with the buttons down there. Try it now. You can deactivate this just by hitting the same button again to get rid of those annoying help menus. Convenient. Finally, there are some quick things to remember. Click a building and then click Interact to do things. You can also click on squads and intersections to interact with them. For example, you could click on an intersection and then have a squad make a checkpoint there. This can be useful for guarding areas of the city, and some contracts will require you to do it. If you need some extra cash, open the contract screen and take a look there. You might also be able to get extra work by calling up a faction leader from the faction screen. At some point, you will want to take a new base. You'll need to find a residential or corporate office building. Click Interact and purchase it. You can also seize the building certificate from another faction's base, and then deploy it in a building to gain control of it. That's a bit risky though. When you have a squad station somewhere, if you interact with that location and choose Setup Deployment here, you can get your forces ready for any attacks. You should consider doing that for your HQ when you finish this tutorial. I believe that's it. The best way to think about units in Frozen Synapse 2 I've found is to consider basically time to kill. So there's a knife unit where if you get on top of a unit, they'll basically insta-kill them. But of course, the challenge here is how do you get from point A to the point where you can kill that unit. Clearly, if your knife unit is running down an unobstructed hallway towards a sniper, the sniper's going to have enough time to focus in and take the shot. On the other hand, if I sort of know that there's going to be a corner that they need to take, I think a knife unit in that area would be really effective because you just kind of keep them around the corner, put them in the choke point, and chances are the enemy won't be able to respond in time. And then you can sort of see how those assault units were behaving, that at a long distance. Even though I had the best weapon in the game versus a pistol, it was taken... Well, best is a relative term. But basically, even though I had a nice long-range weapon, it was taking a while to take them out because I was moving and so on. So basically, if you have two evenly matched opponents, the one with a shorter time to kill is going to win. and what you can do is you can do actions that will minimize the time to kill, so standing still, focusing the shot, and then you can do things that will maximize your opponent's time to kill, which is standing behind cover, you know. And this was true of Frozen Synapse 1. You know, the battle between like a machine gun and a shotgun is a really good example of that. But I never really considered it in terms of time until I played Frozen Synapse 2. Anyways, when you have a SWAT station somewhere, okay, consider doing that to my HQ when I finish the tutorial. And that's it. I'm finally done now. Your priority is the incursions. Get to them as fast as you can or the districts will cut your funding. Aside from that, you'll have to keep us in business by doing contract work. Oh, and you'll need to stop the factions from getting out of control. Should be fine. Yes, if you run out of inspiration, just slam the fast forward button down there and wait for the next incursion. I have faith in you, technically speaking. Alright, so I'm really bad at setting up deployments, but let's see if there's something I can do with this. You're now setting up a deployment for this location. You may drag units around and set patrol routes for them by making waypoints in the usual way. When enemies arrive at this location, your units will follow these patrol routes until the enemy is spotted, at which time they will return to your direct control. If this location is where items may be stored, use the Set Item Storage button on the left to select a location for this. Your units are initially in randomized positions. Drag the map around to find them. Okay. This is not a terrible place for item storage, to be completely honest. Keep this guy indoors. Mostly what I want the pistol guys to do, the aim for the pistol guys is to be sort of an early warning system. One of the risks I have with my this is kind of a weak spot to put him, but basically what I'm kind of hoping for is a focus. If I build something like this, the real major place for their deployment is on the right-hand side, which means that most of my units are going to be in there. Oops. Are going to be sort of in a position to deal with the right-hand side attack. But again, I'm not 100% on these patrols, so this one's going to be pretty basic. Anyway, I'll live with that. So one other thing I want to try and do is I want to make a small... So let's take a look at what contracts I can do. So deliver an item from parcel tossers, patrol a building, attack a faction in a building, eradicate a raider force. So... I don't really want to send my strike team on this because I want them to deal with the incursions, but I'm thinking what I'm going to try this time around, which I didn't do before, is to start building like a squad based out of my contract work. So here we'll create a new squad. And what do I have for a budget? 18K. See, I can really only afford a pistol guy right now. Well, that's fine. This will very literally just be a single courier. And then the idea here is, as I do more and more of these things, I'm going to gain financing to be able to beef them up and basically send them on more dangerous missions. Diamond Brothers are commencing a physical money transfer. I know they were talking about, oh yeah, here we go, factions. So everybody is stronger than me. We'll figure out what happens with factions when I'm strong enough to interact with them. Right now, I'll just sort of say, "New mercenaries have expressed an interest in signing with our faction." I'm not interested in hiring them, though. Once I have a little bit more of a robust funding base, I'll consider bringing on some of the heavier guys. Our squad has arrived at the mission location. Would you like them to pick up the item? Yes. Now take it to destination 731 Cavalier. I have a call coming through. No further word on the significance of relics, I'm afraid. The analytical team is struggling. We may need to secure some external assistance. There's still no clue as to Sonata's origin or intentions. I came to Markov about 10 years before the realization, when the corporations were just starting to make real moves. I resigned my commission after Icevex and my family settled here. I needed to move back to the Republic. Couldn't face another tour of duty out there. I'm sure you understand. Things were certainly less than perfect, but the administration was trying to put it all together. Everyone was starting to figure out where to fit. The Neo-Nomad kept things under control, and the shape was a revelation. It was embedded across the entire city. You could walk from Cortica to Deshen and stay entirely immersed. They discovered Charon's palm somewhere out there in the depths of the network. They allowed it to connect to everything. At first it was a huge improvement. It helped to bring people together, keep the city functioning on a systemic level. Then, I never found exactly what it was. It started to become self-destructive. It was giving tactical assistance to violent insurgent groups, fighting against itself. I've never seen such devastation. This is filling me in on the stuff that I should have learned from playing for. Forgiven Geometry is conducting Shape Awareness meeting in New Cortica. And Malcolm Swain. Potentate, it has been brought to my attention that Forgiven Geometry is conducting disruptive shape awareness meetings here in New Cortica. As you might well imagine, we don't approve of this sort of thing here. Please make sure that it is not allowed to continue. Okay. I'm not sure who these guys are, or I'm going to decline for now. Well, that's very disappointing. And yeah, they reduced their funding for us, but I don't think I have the manpower to be able to disrupt a meeting like that. And more importantly, if I go to the faction menu, Forgiven Geometry seems kind of strong. After the collapse of the Shapeform Council, shortly after the realization, the remaining Shapeform leadership banded together to form Forgiven Geometry. The geometry is primarily concerned with mitigating human impact on the shape, which it is termed shape erosion. It now operates substantial Vatform forces within the city and conducts operations to thwart activity it believes to be harmful, while also lobbying the Council for protective measures. Yeah. Whereas New Cortica Oh, they're not even a faction? That doesn't make sense. Okay, well, that's that then. I have Denzin Valur from Blue Sunlight on the line for you. Greetings, Potentate Nix. I am Denzian Valur. Our founder, Denzian Creed, passed away shortly after what others termed the realization. I'm sure you're aware, our church has grown rapidly in that time. We are proud to play a role in the lives of many people here. I know that you believe you have been summoned to defend the population, and that is a worthy objective. But I urge you to avoid a short-sighted outlook. You are a protector. Doesn't Sonata also deserve protection? Yes, her manifestation can be terrifying at times, but her law is transcendent. I implore you, do not impede her path. Alright, I am now going to be... may you join the elect, Potentate Nix. Alright. So, Blue Sunlight is somebody I want to be careful of. And this also means if I have opportunities to harm them through other means, I will do so. I'll drop off the item. We have completed a contract to deliver item for parcel tossers and have been paid 9,160. Now, we're not really ahead of the game because we did have to give up some, we gave up some money for, we gave up some money to not respond to the request, but let's see what other contracts we have available. So we can set up a checkpoint, patrol a building, disrupt a faction activity. Low to medium, okay. Okay, so if I want to disrupt... You know, I don't think I have the money to be able to do this, unfortunately. So I've got 14k to play with. I'd at least want some kind of automatic weapon to handle this. Like, I feel like a couple of pistoliers aren't quite going to be able to... Okay, we'll send them home. If we get a call about the district march, I might reconsider, but... MPS has arrived at HQ. Oh yes, sorry. Militant Parcel Service. Got a call coming through. We've detected a Sonata presence at this library. Our suspicion is that they're going after another similar relic. The population are extremely wary. Just the suggestion of rogue activity from a complex shapeform is enough to create concern. Tell me about it. Alright, so this is why we've been holding back. Again, I'd like to do some of these other contracts to bring in some money, but I want to make sure that I have one good squad for these incursions. And it looks like it's going to take us a while to get there. This part of this mission is going to be learning about the SMG. I remember this one. Sonata units are already inside the building, and there's more on the way. We'll do our best. Alexander, we may not be able to save these civilians, but we should aim to take out every last Sonata unit. Remember, if you test your plan, you'll be able to see my predicted movements for any Sonata units which are not currently aware of your presence. Groovy. You can deploy your units around the edge of the lot in this mission. That means you can put them on the roads and pavements outside the perimeter where the enemies are. Try to see if you can get the jump on them. So, there's one guy in the building right now, and there's a team sort of standing out. So, let's start with the SMG. So I can't put them inside, but I can probably do something like this. I don't want to get too close to that. I want these guys to wait just a hair while they move and don't look in my direction. Actually, I think I'll just go for the default 1 second. I think 1 second might be too long. That's a clumsy way to go in. I know I can assign some focuses. Well, hang on. I'll rethink this. Not sure this is the most efficient plan, but I think this will get me sort of in the doorway, or this will get me like open. Okay, so unfortunately I lost... Oh, nope, this guy's still around. Before her time, a planning agent overcoming an obstacle. Okay. So one thing I am... in search of a goal, she heard the call. The grief of the city ripped to oblivion. Any analysis, Balakwa? Sounds like black metal lyrics. I can't get any origin on fix on it if that's what you're asking. Okay. So what I want to do here, well, cancel the aim. So part of the aim here was just to get a nice long view on the AI. What I am curious about, though, is if these guys just rush the door. Okay, we're good. Obviously they can aim as well, but I think they're going to be focusing on the civilians. Yep. This level of aggression from Sonata is unprecedented. We'll submit this data for tactical analysis, and I'll reconvene with you shortly. I need to figure out how the bonds work, but... There's absolutely no explanation for this death toll. Sonata could easily have acquired the relic without causing this level of damage. It seems totally irrational. I'm getting frantic calls from all over the city. The districts are in an uproar. We desperately need some assistance. Balakwa, patch in Chancellor Lane Malhotra from Brightling. Despite our recent altercations, I'm willing to compromise and provide you some support to this project. We respectfully ask that you curb some of Alexander's more cavalier behavior when it comes to city management, however. I apologize, Chancellor. I will be sure to discuss it with them. The university would perhaps be better equipped to help had the council not slashed our funding over the last 2 years. Yes, I understand that this is less than ideal, but we could be facing a serious threat to the entire city. I thought the entire city was supposed to be your domain. We were compelled to militarize during the rise and realization to protect ourselves. Things don't seem to have changed. Look, this is boring. You do research, right? We want research. The most annoying shapeform that we've seen... want to research the most annoying shapeform we've seen since my 1.0 version? All you have to do is help us stop it, and you can keep all the data that you gather. Balakwa. Well, if those are serious terms, then we would be interested. It doesn't appear that we're able to gain any further insight from the relics at this point. We know that they can accelerate computational systems and that their monetary value is demonstrable, but beyond that, their connection to Sonata is largely opaque. If you were able to capture a Sonata unit, we may be able to extract some information from it by analyzing its shape connection. Malcolm Swain wants to talk to us again. Your response was adequate, Potentate. A little more hustle wouldn't hurt, though. Send them home, and we're gonna beef up our delivery squad. We're 55k, so I can actually afford an assault rifle, or I can beef up the core unit by adding a sniper. I think in this case I will add an assault rifle to Moretti Assault. Now the real tempting thing is to do 2 pistols and an assault and start sending them out on sterner missions, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a checkpoint, patrol a building. Extremely high, medium. Keep a squad there for 6 hours. I'm pretty sure if I set up a checkpoint, I'm gonna get attacked. Okay, well, you know what? We'll risk it. I've still got the strike team if things get scary. Set up a checkpoint here for 6 hours at Codlack and Shirkin. I'm not quite sure that's what I wanted to do, actually, but... yeah, this is a rotten spot for me to be. Alright, well. I'm not sure this is the same as set up a checkpoint. There we go. So I'm hoping that it's a comm checkpoint, but I'm assuming that they're not spending so much money because... Yes, activate the relic and the bond. Call coming through. The shape got pretty bashed up 7 years ago when the realization happened. It's funny, you lot ended up relying on it more than the physical infrastructure. Of course, that got blown up in the fighting as well, so everything was pretty much just a huge mess. The old Shapeform Council decided to tool up some VAT forms and form Forgiven Geometry. They wanted a hefty presence in the real to make you all sit up and take notice of the damage. We worked to make sure that every last trace of Charon was eliminated, but they are still worried that a total shape collapse after all the incremental shape erosion you've caused through the years. Personally, I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't massively care. You're here, we're here, and there's not much I can do about it. Alright, so there's a bunch of people heading this way, which concerns me. Oh, this is totally going to be a fight. I have Chancellor Lane Malhotra from Breitling University on the line for you. Hello, Potentate Nix. I'm Chancellor Lane Malhotra of Breitling University. We've been delighted to play a part in the intellectual life of the city for many years, even prior to the realization. Despite providing our expertise and technology to the factions involved with Reconstruction, we are sidelined and even threatened as they become entrenched. Intellectual and academic endeavors are often the first to be discarded in the rush for power. I took it upon myself to ensure that we could protect ourselves. You will have heard many forceful perspectives on the Sonata situation. Mine is straightforward. I know that I know nothing. We have no data. We have no rigorous system of analysis. Allow us to study the relics, and we will get to the truth here. We will get to the truth here. Farewell, Potentate next. Okay, apparently she's irritated for some reason. Brightling University are attacking our forces at Codwick and Shirkin. What shall we do? Oh, that's awesome to hear, Sigir. You may be less... Oh! And right around that time, the game crashes. Let's just jump straight back in. I'm about to get my ass kicked, I think. Hopefully that doesn't turn you off. It is maybe worth saying, I have heard some rumors that the game has a couple of bugs that are still kicking around. But I will say from personal experience, Frozen Synapse, Frozen Cortex are both perfectly serviceable, perfectly enjoyable games, and I have every faith that Mode 7 will, will fix the problems. They're currently working on a Mac and Linux version, and these things happen, right? So I know that is sometimes a concern for people when you see stuff like this, but I'm personally not too worried about what's going on. Oh, that's totally different from... Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm boned.
System primed. Unit down.
Okay, well, at least my assault's available. Holy smokes. Yeah, I don't think I can survive this at all. Let's say we continue on site and just book it. Okay, possible. They can't get through this door, which is good. Okay, I'm in good shape there. So, as soon as I'm done, clear focus and ignore. And get ready for any of the baddies. Of course, if somebody... The smart thing for them to do would be to sneak around the back and shoot me in the back of the head, but right now I'm focused on survival.
System primed.
Amanda, you absolute sweetheart. Thank you so much. Sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to, if I'm allowed to call you Amanda or if I should call you Sin. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Thank you so much. I'm sure all of you are very familiar with Amanda, also known as the Eyes of Sin. For those of you who don't know her, she is responsible for my emotes. So for those of you who like these good-looking folks, by the way, I am going to totally cheeseball this. Because there's one thing that I do like that they've done to make this a little bit more new player friendly. So I'm going to try this plan. I think this guy is going to wind up blowing me away, but I'm curious.
Primed.
Oh, okay. So what you can do is you can restart at the selected turn. I didn't think the SMG would be able to take me out that way. So if you want to cheese it out, which I'm totally going to do, you can basically just try all sorts of different plans. Now, this is one thing I really like, because this is very similar to the way that I play and get a little bit better at XCOM, which is to say, okay, I need to try and figure out how the game works. Again, trying to reduce... I don't know if there's a lot of games that you can sort of think of these things as time to kill. It's a concept that I think does take a little bit of getting used to. So in this case, sometimes iterating over a few different plans and seeing how they go, it's not the worst thing in the world to do, in my opinion. Now, as a streamer, it sucks because everybody, like, it's not fun to watch someone just sort of cheat and brute force their way through every problem. And one thing I do sort of need to learn is to sort of accept failure a little bit better in games like this. But especially when I'm learning a brand new game like this, I do find iterating over a few different plans is a really great way to learn. It's actually one way that I got a bit better at the Paradox games, which is I didn't play on Iron Man until I felt comfortable with how the rules worked. And then I played on Iron Man to let it all go through. So, yes, hello, Ego Akaran. Anyways, I kind of cut Sin short there. Sin, 13 months. Thank you very much. I think you know exactly how helpful you have been over the last little while, and it means a lot, especially because I know your circumstances are ones where I would have been basically shutting out completely from Twitch. So to see you continue on that way makes me very happy and very grateful. So thank you. And to all of you, because there are still a few subs, I know, so this always happens whenever a stream goes down for a while. Like, sure, I saw a big drop in terms of follows and subs. How was the blackout for you? I was, I think, 48 hours, possibly a little bit longer without... It was bad. Yeah, a lot of people I know, though, were able to get... No, I mean, the big thing, like, I wasn't... I was definitely worried in terms of, like, basics, like, okay, knowing that everybody's going to be going downtown to get, like, necessities and stuff like that, how am I going to be able to navigate that? Like, I never felt that I would be going... I never felt I'd be going to bed hungry unless I just thought lineups were really terrible or something like that. But the nice thing is I did get a day off work today, so that was a nice side bonus. But yeah, anyways, guys, there are a few more people watching than I thought I would, because I know normally Monday is Paradox Grand Strategy game, and I really wanted to make sure that I gave Frozen Synapse its due, so it was the first thing I was going to do no matter what when I came back. But the good news is I also really like this game, so... but yeah, I know there's quite a few people who got through it pretty well. And I mean, I obviously had access to internet through my phone, so it wasn't terrible. But I talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the stream. Like, I have a much better appreciation for a game like This War of Mine, because there's something very weird about being out of power and, like, not knowing when it's coming back for an extended period of time, which is just totally different from, like, go to sleep with the assumption that the lights will be back on when you come back. So it was an interesting experience. It's not necessarily... I would not trade the loss of my weekend for for the day off today, but I'm happy to be back. And like I said, for those of you who stuck around and dealt with not having a week of casting, I really appreciate that. Okay, well, at least I didn't die, but I am not in the most favorable position. Oh, I'm not looking the right spot, but we can adjust that. So the way I would handle this in my own case would be this guy would come around the side to rush me. Okay, tempting. See, I don't like that though, so... I screwed something up. So we'll see how this goes again. I'm going to reset it if it doesn't turn out. I do want to see if it's possible to win this with one guy. Interesting. So still keep focused like this. I don't mind holding this guy here. The problem, what I would like to do is I'd actually like to move this guy around behind these barriers, but I'm not going to be able to do that, so... I thought I was going to die that round and I'd be able to go through. I'm not sure I would have chosen to end that turn that way. Yeah. Okay, so let's cancel aiming. We will, I think we'll like wait a second. Slightly curious how this turns out. Yeah, this is long enough.
System primed. Hostile neutralized.
Okay, so I wanted to cancel that aim a while ago.
System primed. Hostile neutralized.
Cool! Okay, this is going to be a really hard one to deal with because I'm pretty sure the SMG wipes out my guy. Let's assume he knows exactly where I'm going to be this whole time. Okay, I can still maintain that, and this guy's probably going to take too long. Okay, that's a little risky, but we might be able to... Alright, so it was smart. So distance is my friend in this situation. See, my view is that I'm the checkpoint, right? They need to go past me. Just gonna stay here with my aim. Okay, so it looks like we're basically gonna be standing off forever. I'm slightly curious if this nonsense will work. Holy smokes. So I think what they'll probably do is move slightly off to the side like this. So how does this work? Okay, nope, that's even worse for them. So this might actually turn out.
System primed.
Obviously, I'm not testing this as much as I can because I know I can rewind. Okay, again, he got smart.
You have failed.
I wasn't expecting the assault to be able to shoot me there, but then I guess... that makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna try something a bit ludicrous. I want to see if I'm just going to be able to totally cheese out the assault unit like this. Apparently I can? It's a little tough to believe.
System
Okay.
primed.
Oh, I'm hosed.
You have failed.
That was the thing that I missed. The fact that he moved up. But I'm curious if the same plan works. Doing this. Again, this is not a recommended way of playing the game. At this point, it's... This is definitely an effort to try and understand exactly how some of these corner cases work.
Hostile neutralized.
Alright, so when you have perfect foreknowledge of the enemy's moves, you do pretty good. So now I have a little bit of an advantage here, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep that... So the thing that's neat about this, let's say that they just want to completely... Let's say they want to completely abandon the position. So let's say cancel the aim and continue on site. I'm curious if they're able to run away in time. Okay, well that's not really realistic. So let's say, okay, how about the alternative where we try and just run in and blow them away? So at the very least, I gain a positional advantage in the fact that he starts running away and I'm better at long range. And if he comes charging towards me, he dies.
You are victorious.
Alright, so when I get like 600 resets, I'm like super good at this game. So, sorry, I know there's a lot of purists who are just like bashing their head against the desk, but I have a feeling I'm gonna have fewer assault-based questions. Alright, what does Lane Malhotra want? Good day to you, Potentate Nex. I'd like to draw your attention to something. Our assault was clearly wholly inadequate. Quite frankly, it appears that you were able to compose a strategy to outwit my forces. Not really, I just used the reset button a lot. Is there anything I can help you with? Current relationship with Breitling University is neutral. A treaty might mean that they do not attack us for relics or during contract misc. Consider asking for a truce. Well, I can see your perspective on this, Potentate. Ah, very nice. Terribly sorry, Potentate. I must disconnect now. Farewell. Okay, so that changes everything. I'm curious how many people I can get... Virgil contacting Potentate Alexander Nix. Indicate communication. That's how you think we talk, isn't it? Well, I've had enough of it, to be quite honest. No, don't worry. I'm just misbehaving a little. Luckily for you, I'm approaching your appointment with a certain optimism. I've seen you're the kind of person you are from your prior shape activity. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Do you like my friend, the companion Drobbit? What a beautiful creature he is. He's completely intangible, so don't worry if you can't perceive him. He says hello. The geometry's position on Sonata is that she is simply rather confused. We should resist her more expressive moments, but then try to establish a bit of dialogue. She may well be our only chance to revert the terrible shape erosion which threatens. I was very impressed with your defensive maneuvers at Codwick and Shirkin. Breitling University couldn't catch you off balance, even with an ambush in the road. They're really becoming rather dissonant, like a cat singing down a hallway. What can I do for you, Potentate Nix? I've thought about it, but no, Potentate. I'm being called away, Potentate. I do so hope that we shall have the opportunity to conduct discourse again in the very near future. By the way, for those of you confused about why they're calling me Potentate, you can customize your faction in this game. It's here somewhere. It's the system block, faction abbreviation SYS, and I assigned the title Potentate. Okay, our squad MPS has taken losses. MPS has taken casualties. You need to send them back to one of our buildings for regrowth. Until then, the squad will still be able to operate, but you won't have access to its departed members. And you have been reported for new municipal code violations. Firearm discharged on the street at Davis and Miller caused a public disturbance at Davis and Miller, and firearm discharge. Well, I still have the. They should still be set up. Yeah, I guess I can try. I think in this case I'm going to try as many treaties as I can. Good to speak with you, Potentate Nix. I am Commander at par of Safeguard. As I'm sure you know, we rescued the city from chaos. The laws collapsed, the infrastructure was gone. We are proud to assist in building a new order. I took it upon myself to stay and form a government, but the bureaucrats and the MGMC blocked everything I tried. I didn't back down, I kept pushing forwards. We had to break away on our own. Sonata is a high priority threat to the order that we built. It's dangerous and unpredictable. I hope that you will support me in defending our citizens by eliminating it entirely. We're currently marching through the city as a show of strength. Our organization and discipline will strike fear into our enemies' hearts. Alright. Potentate Nix, good to meet you. I'm Gert Forrester, Director of Diamond Brothers Holdings. After the realization, we took a sizable bet on Markov's rejuvenation. I'm pleased to say that it paid off, and now we find ourselves attending to the financial health of the city. It is a responsibility I relish. I'm sure you share my outlook. Every crisis is an opportunity to invest. Sonata is a unique property. Its relics could represent a strong foundation for a new financial system. We recently completed some money transfer operations. Business as usual. Will you be my friend? Not gonna happen. Alright. Blue Sunlight was somebody I think I was suspicious of. Currently conducting an education program. As you may be aware, we're having difficulty with the Markov-Geist Municipal Council. Their ineffectual bureaucracy has become intolerable. It would help me greatly if you could attack their forces at corporate office. No. Sonata would not permit me to take this course of action. I think I accidentally hit contract. I have a feeling that nobody else is going to want a treaty with me, but we'll see. Alexander, I'm Brianna Bartleby. Gert Forrester once called me the greatest threat to Martin Markov. I've always been pretty pleased with that. Look, you're going to have a lot of influence here, so I'll just get to the point. Please don't let them bring back the old pre-realization nonsense. We don't need more banks and barracks and bollocks. We actually need to build a city which is useful. I don't just mean physically. We've got to open lines of communication. Let's use these relics to set up a free and open shape network. No shapesec, no oversight. Just let people talk to each other again. I know you'll see sense. Yeah, nobody likes me. There's so many of these. I think I'm just gonna I'll give up and accept the fact that I'm only working with the university on this. I think I could probably go to warp speed for a bit. Oop, I have a call coming through. Oh, this one's a bit of a pain. We've tracked a Sonata squad to this location. This may be a big opportunity to capture a unit so that we can take it to Breitling University for analysis. So, as always, this is why I'm not taking any other more lucrative contracts, because I want to keep a strike team available. So this one, I believe I need to use a gas grenade to capture a unit. And I seem to remember that the setup for this one is one where I always wind up just making a total hash of the thing. We tracked down the Sonata unit that we need to capture at this location. We're ready for your input, Alexander. This is James Olsen, the unit that we're targeting. You must use a gas grenade unit to disable him. He cannot be attacked with any other weapon. Other units will not fire on him. We think the squad is going to move past through the reception area, then walk past it into the hotel. It makes sense. While they remain unaware of your presence, you can see their predicted movements by pressing the play button. I'm just here to make your life easier. Position our units to ambush them. You may place units inside the lot this time. Balaka will get them there, just don't put them within enemy's line of sight. So, if memory serves, the way that this one works is this kind of group rushes through like this. So the problem I've normally run into is that... where are my guys? No, they usually wind up noticing me at a time when I can't really take advantage of my better position. So I think what I'm going to do this time around... I'm going to try putting all my eggs in this particular basket here. I'm going to do my absolute best not to be detected. So, oh, the game will actually let me put them... Oh, wild. Okay, it actually lets me put them in sneakier positions than I originally thought. That changes everything. He walks away. Yeah, so that gives away everything. Now, in theory, if he walks through, there's the... Yeah, it's still not an insta-kill. So I don't want that. I'm mildly curious of an absolutely absurd strategy which... So basically just... This is more just to sort of paint the area in terms of directing their attention. But if we got two guys to move on the end like this... So the problem is that everybody gets alerted way too early. Kind of curious how this all turns out. So this is a gang war simulator? Yeah, so Ego, I don't know if you played the original Frozen Synapse. The thing that was neat about Frozen Synapse was the combat was a lot like this. And like it was a succession of levels that were sort of constructed in order to see how this all went. Before I do any of this madness, I actually kind of want to see how everybody moves before. Yes, I mean everybody is moving into a spot that doesn't make this a totally reckless plan. But yeah, so basically you would go from like mission to mission. I really liked that structure. So what's neat about this new game is that you have this cityscape, and I don't know if they count as procedurally generated or if they're just one way or the other. Basically, there's a lot more variety in the missions, and they're driven more by this larger scale game, the Geoscape, sort of like XCOM, for instance. It's a very different way of structuring the missions, and it's one that I'm taking a little bit to get used to, because it's determining things like what my unit composition is, and so there's quite a few more variables. Another really big thing that's changed in this game, so in Frozen Synapse, one of the things that you could do is you could direct your unit's attention to where you go, and you can still do that. So basically, if you're pointing in the right direction, it's better than not pointing at all. But there's also a level of precision. The game rewards you for predicting exactly where the enemy is going to be within a certain level, and that can mean the difference between your pistol units being like good at what they do or just being a disaster. So it's kind of neat to get used to this sort of stuff. This is going to be very silly, but so like, I actually don't even think there's a diamond for the, anyway, we'll see how this turns out. I mean, presumably the pistol guy's not just going to stand there and take it, but there's a small improvement I might be able to make or something like this. Yeah, but of course, there's a reason why I'm moving this guy into sort of a mid-range like this, right? Is because I want him to just mow down everything that comes through this area. Now, the problem is that these assault rifle guys are going to be able to cause me grief later on, so I think I'm going to try something like this. I mean, my alternative is to try and run this guy out into a better position of safety. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Obviously, I can always reset the mission to see how it turns out. But this is the problem that I've always run into on this mission, is that I go in guns blazing right away. I don't really set up the ambush that it's telling me to, and then I wonder, why I need to reset so much or why all my guys are dying. So. Okay, that is not a bad way to start this mission at all. So let's say these shotgunners really hate my SMG guy, and they're like 100% dedicated to just nailing him. Oops. Yeah, so he's toast if that happens. I do need to figure out what I'm doing with my assault units, though, because these guys are obviously not going to be idle. So let's clear everything out. I'm going to move this guy out and around. keep this guy moving up, especially because I want to see whether or not he actually still kills the shotgunner. It does take a little bit more effort, but... I do want to be careful with the poison gas guy, because if we lose him, that's the mission. There is no friendly fire, Ego Karen. So like the original idea in Frozen Synapse was that you were an operator who were giving these high-level instructions to these what are called shape forms. My middle mouse button doesn't really work well, but basically they're these artificial people who are not very good at anything really. Like they have only very rudimentary autonomous action. So like they'll be able to fire a weapon, but they won't be able to implement strategy. So you're supposed to be this strategist that's telling them what to do. If you've ever heard of a game by Julian Gollop, who's most famous for doing XCOM, but has actually made a lot of really good strategy games, this is basically a reimagining of a much lesser known game that he's made called Laser Squad. And what they've done is, in addition to adding the geoscape inside of the game, they've also added a lot more sharpness in terms of, maybe not even sharpness, but there's a lot more detail in terms of this tactical level of the game. So as we talked about, there's the main thing you want to focus on is the time to kill. So if two people are facing off, the one with the shorter time to kill is going to win. And then of course you have all these other variables to worry about, which is what if there's two guys, what if there's, so on and so forth. But the biggest, standing still, standing behind cover, aiming correctly. So is the diamond actually on the unit rather than you're just aiming in the correct direction? All of these sorts of things factor in. And the best example I can think of is that if one of these knife units get on top of one of my guys, I'm in a lot of trouble. But if I'm able to keep some distance between myself and one of the knife guys, so like one of the smart things that they might do would be something like this. Okay, not so smart things. But if I really wanted to take out the submachine gunner... Oh, too bad for me. And it's entirely possible they'll do that, by the way. But of course, that's focusing every single unit on taking out one submachine gunner, which is maybe not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, basically that's kind of how the game is structured, which is you're breaking the game up into these little slices. They did also add this thing called long turns, so you can actually come up with a really elaborate plan for your guys. But I'm not entirely sure it's one that I'm comfortable bringing up for myself. I'm just kind of trying to make sure that my guy's going in and out of cover over time. So we'll see whether or not that actually happens with the knife units. I'm a little less worried about this whole thing because I know that if I really screw up, I can retry the turn. Mostly right now, I'm just trying some really rudimentary strategies and seeing how it all works. Okay, so it looks like I was going to lose that unit no matter what. Well, I wasn't going to lose it no matter what, but I definitely lost. Now this is going to be a little trickier because the shotgun unit's going to be a problem for my assault, but we are going to change the dynamic a little bit. Oh, now this guy's in trouble. Yeah, there's no way he survives that. So what I should be doing now, if I stand my ground, I think I take one but not the other. Not even that. Okay. So we're going to try something a little different. We're going to do continue on site and run. And this guy is going to go behind. I might even have to redo the last turn. Okay. I'm going to change that aim order. I'm actually going to start it somewhere around here. Again, I have no idea where these guys are going to be, so I'm just sort of painting the order so that I have a general idea. but
System primed.
I'm gonna try and make my choices have some consequences, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so this is gonna get interesting. So if this guy's gonna move up like this, I'm gonna try a welcome package for him. This is by the producer of the game, Isaacson, Paul Kilduff Taylor, who is a very talented electronic musician in addition to making some games that I really enjoy. I'm not sure this is really gonna work, but I'm interested in trying it. I'm not actually going to assign any aims to this guy.
System primed. Hostile.
Oh, glorious.
Hostile neutralized.
That's so unexpected. Okay, well, clearly... You know what, I don't even need to do that. I just don't let him get through the door. My assault rifle guy is scared of the... Yeah, so I'm gonna live with I'm gonna live with the loss of my submachine gunner because I kind of want to see how the regen works, and then we should be able to pack this guy away. So this stuff stays for a while. I can't... Oh, does he not get pegged by that? Anyway, yeah, anything that walks into this is gonna die, so...
System primed.
But yeah, if you guys want, you can buy this on Steam. You can also buy... actually, you know what? Should do this like a proper streamer. I will mention, by the way, Mode 7 Games did give me a key for this game. And I mean, I really am one of these people who would have wound up buying the game anyway, although I probably would have wound up buying it later and so not streaming it until later. So let me show you... Okay, so this is Paul Kilduff Taylor, Ian Hardigan. Those are the Twitter accounts. So if you guys like this music, I strongly recommend you check out nervoustestpilot.co.uk. That's where you can buy all of his music, including the chiptunes that he does under the name Ensnare. I have all the Ensnare albums, and I think I have most of the Nervous Test Pilot albums, but mostly through the fact that you get some of them with the original Frozen Synapse, I believe. This soundtrack is currently $12 US, and then of course if you buy the game on Steam, let me find that. Actually, can you buy it on GOG? Oh, cool! You can buy it on GOG. Haha, suckers! You can find it on Steam if you want, but I'm gonna give you guys my affiliate link. Okay, tell you what, guys. If you if somebody finds the Steam link, you can put it in chat. I'm gonna give my GOG affiliate link though. So there's this game. If you use that affiliate link, I get a small portion of the revenues. Oops.
You are victorious.
Oh, we won. But you can also buy the soundtrack separately, which is why I was going there. And it looks like it's actually $10 Canadian. So I believe if you buy the soundtrack as DLC, so like basically, if you like this game enough to buy it, I believe you will get the soundtrack for less. So it looks like Frozen Synapse 2 is $33.99 on Steam for me right now. You can get the soundtrack edition, which will give you, it'll be $40.02, so you're basically spending another $7, less than $7 actually. And if you want to buy Frozen Synapse 2 with the soundtrack and Frozen Synapse 1, which I believe has other Nervous Test Pilot music, $62.45. Again, that's Canadian. But with all of that in mind, if you are not sure if that's quite your thing, if you just think that I'm showing you all the best tracks in the game, you can, I believe you can listen to all the music on Paul's website, that nervoustestpilot.co.uk I put there. So, but if you do like the music, please do support. I mean, apparently the man seems very talented at choosing. Okay, that's a really interesting thing about this mission I did not know. You don't actually need to eliminate all the units, you just need to take out the target. Excellent, we'll bring the secondary team into a range to extract the unit. Anyways, obviously it is hard to make a living making games, and Mode 7 Games has done a wonderful job of that, including being a publisher now. So if you guys played a game called Tokyo 42, they published that. But the other career that I suspect is something that a lot of people want to do and is really hard to get a toehold in, is to actually become a musician. So the fact that these guys have been able to pull it off is pretty amazing in my opinion. Oh, it's great. That's one of the big things for me, is that obviously because I got a press key for the game, and I mean I requested it, right? It's not like it totally came out of the blue. One of the things I am doing for myself is buying the soundtrack so that I can make sure I send it. And I am encouraging you guys, if you do like this sort of thing, if you think it's for you, do consider buying it. Obviously, it will go on sale at some point, and if you feel that it is, the lower price is the better one, that's a valuation you need to make for yourself. Obviously, you don't get to play it right away if that's the case. But if you do feel you're in the middle ground, I do recommend that you check out the original Frozen Synapse or Frozen Cortex, because those are also two very. If you like this game, if you think you will like this game, you will very likely like the earlier ones as well. I actually like Frozen Cortex a lot, and I'm surprised that it was not more popular. But it all has the wonderful, same wonderful music, same cool strategy. Just this is a real gem of a game, and I hope for those of you who do like watching me for the strategy stuff, consider supporting it, because I really want to see more games like this get made. All right, I'll prepare the containment facility. So obviously I can switch around some of my guys. Standard 10k bond granted, friendly unit killed in action, lots of enemy units killed in action. This is the first chance we've got to get ahead of Sonata. It's good to have some positive news to bring to the council. Alexander, you're likely to hear a lot of criticism for our work from various quarters. It's just par for the course. The truth is that we're the only organization protecting fundamental rights, and the only neutral forum. Whether you believe that it's a moral end in itself or simply a shield to protect individual freedoms, it largely doesn't matter. We're the only chance the city has for lasting peace. I've certainly had enough of killing. Okay, Malcolm Swain. Glad to see you're continuing to apply pressure to Sonata, Potentate. Keep it up. Still breaking the law. Everybody's on their way home. I really should consider hiring some mercenaries at this point, but yes, we'll store the bond. Okay, so let's just take a quick look here and see if there's anything I can specifically do for the strike team. Okay, so I think regenerate at any base, not just your HQ. Okay. So I'm going to assume that units are regenerated automatically. I have a call coming through. There are elements within the Council who are keen to portray it as the ultimate solution to all of our problems. Metim is as dogmatic in peace as he was in wartime. He'll claim that our innate desire for harmony inevitably leads human civilization to adopt this exact political system. It has always been a specious argument. In any case, simply because something tends to happen does not make it optimal. Personally, I believe the Council is approaching a time of reckoning. They need to start taking some external input or face assault from every direction. They'll either form a real consensus or start employing even more violence to protect their position. The extent of this could surprise you. I spent the last few years pushing for shapeform mediation to help curb the rise of senseless extremism. Unless we can obviate our cognitive biases, then we will never be able to operate within a realm of truth. I wish I knew how much longer. At 23. Okay, so I think in an hour we should get our team back. Actually, also because we're on slightly warmer terms with... Where are you? I guess New Cortica doesn't show up in here. Unless they attack us. Your task is complete. We have completed the contract setup checkpoint here for Forgiven Geometry and have been paid 28,220. So the whole idea behind that was to finance my next batch of mercenaries. So we will return to base with the 60k. So I've got a pistol and an assault. This is the funny thing, I'm actually really tempted to go for a submachine gun. This is relatively inexpensive. So what have I got to play with? 41k. I am very tempted to try a flamethrower just because I really want to see that in action, and I can afford it. Yeah, you know what? We're still going to sit on our hands waiting for okay, I've got another incursion, which is not great. I might actually send the courier team. I feel like unit regeneration should be one of these things that should get its own timer. Well, this is one thing that Google can help with. You know what? I'll find out another day. I'm gonna send my... I'm gonna keep the strike team at home, and I'm gonna send my motley crew out to deal with this. A call coming through. Alexander, the details of our incursion detection system have leaked to other factions in the city. Our techs have informed us that any one individual faction is able to activate... If any one individual faction is able to activate 7 relics, they may be in a position to gain control of Sonata. You must prevent this from happening at all costs. If a faction defeats an incursion, we will be able to track the relic. You should consider ambushing their squad or attacking their base before they manage to complete the activation process. You can see a list of currently active relics in your shortcuts page. Once a relic is activated and its data uploaded, it becomes dead. Dead relics still have monetary value, but are no longer useful in terms of our wider goals. Factions may not always be keen to attack Sonata, and we may still be able to give you access to incursions that other factions have not yet detected. Be ready. So I guess that means if I get 7... Okay, this is pretty good, so if somebody does try any funny business, I can set up a checkpoint to keep it contained. Although they're probably going to try ambushing me. Yeah, so everybody's running in there, so I'm going to be the one to get there first, and then they're going to take it all from me. Oh yeah, this is going to be fun. Okay. Well, I get to learn how flamethrowers work. This agent with the yellow pistol has recovered some data from Sonata. You'll need to get them to any of the gray gray exit zones at the edge of the map and use the exit mission order to get them out. You can control their movement. If you're unable to reach an exit zone, you can win this mission by wiping out the enemy forces. Oh. That's gotta be the exit zone. I have no idea how I'm supposed to survive any of this. Wait, did I just burn my own guy? Yeah, I totally did. That's hilarious. So the thing I'm most worried about is this grenadier. Let's
System primed.
Let's go for it.
Hostile neutralized.
That's amazing.
Hostile neutralized.
So I haven't lost a unit yet. Okay. Yeah, you know what? This guy won't worry about aiming. This guy absolutely will worry about aiming. Again, the tricky part is trying to anticipate where everybody's going to be, but I think we'll be in reasonably good shape with this. The other good news is that we've gotten rid of all the long-range threats. So in this case, I can probably just run this guy straight to the exit. So the ideal solution here is one where I don't lose my guys. I could even potentially consider one where I just run away.
Hostile neutralized.
So now we're going to go on the offensive with this one.
System primed.
Drat. Okay. I want to try and get the loot off this guy if I can. So flamethrower is not going to be helpful to me at this point. We might be able to chase this guy down. I need somebody coming into the room to flush him out, so...
System primed.
So you might be wondering why I primed that. I'm assuming that that guy's not going to stand still. Nope, but he's definitely going to try and take me out, so... So... I'm going to do engage and stop on sight on this one, just so that I have the maximum advantage. It's a little curious. So apparently I am out of range on this, so I might be a little too cautious on this. But I think at this point I'm just gonna...
System primed. Hostile
Nice.
neutralized.
So we got the stuff. Okay, I'm mildly concerned about the fact that this guy is... I would have thought that this counts as an exit area. But I've got a pretty easy solution to that, so... And I'm assuming that he's going to be moving towards him, so we'll send... Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about aiming, because that's going to slow me down. I'm just going to rush this guy.
System primed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just haven't seen the exit menu option. Oh, right here. Thanks for that, Triple H Healthy. I thought it was supposed to be in the prime. It definitely said select. I was just sort of under the impression it would show up on Prime, kind of like end mission. But as it is, we can cause some more mayhem. So. Presumably, the biggest thing I want to avoid is just some embarrassing... Okay. If I lose this SMG on this last round, I'm going to be very sad.
Hostile neutralized.
All right, it's not pretty, but
are
I'm pretty sure
victorious.
everybody's figured that out by this point. By virtue of killing absolutely everyone, you've solved our problem. Good going. Now, of course, the challenge here is that we're now going to have to contend with every other faction that wants that relic we've got. But fortunately, we didn't lose anyone. I have Madeline Fourier of Denovis on the line. We filing a complaint with the council regarding your slow response time, Potentate. Alright, so it's very unlikely that these guys are going to want an alliance, but let's see. I'm just going to try and minimize the number of I'm just trying to minimize conflict as much as I can. Forgiven geometry is also unlikely. Excellent. I'm afraid I have nothing more to say, Potentate. I do hope that we shall have the opportunity to conduct discourse again in the very near future. So, that is one... Oh, guest is probably also gonna cause me some trouble. Irritated. You recently completed the conversion of another hacker space. It'll be good to have another asset in the fight for information consciousness. Oops. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try and be... As much as I can, I'm gonna try and be sneaky. So I do want to go to the home base. So I mostly want to see if I can make it to this important choke point in time. Our squad strike team has been... Okay, excellent. So I can send the strike team on a contract. In this case, I'm just going to send them on a simple courier mission because I want to have them available in case relic request. I'm not sure I want to give them that. I'm just going to do a real simple courier mission to keep the unit occupied. Okay, so they've arrived. I guess we'll make this our... It may be that... Okay, so it looks like they are setting up. So again, I'm just going to try and be a little sneaky and move around these... Oh crap, I did the wrong one. I'm mostly just trying to get around these blocks if I can, so... Yeah, so we basically look straight at him. I should have went here otherwise. It may be that none of these people actually have hostile intentions for me, but oh, sure looks like it. Well, the Forgiven Geometry are, in theory, our ally. So we We should be able, strike team beta. We should be able to dodge that way. Nice. And we should be able to get home. Oh yeah, they're totally coming after me. Yes and yes. And I'm going to assume that we've got something of a... I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to make sure that the guys were... Alright, so the random placement is going to be garbage, but them's the breaks. Cool. New mercenaries have expressed an interest in joining our faction, so I probably want to try and hire somebody for the strike team. I am really inclined towards a sniper. Oops. The alternative would be a rocket launcher. Although I don't know what the deal is with his ammo, so... Awesome, thank you, Ego. It's great to be back. And I might do this again on Wednesday, but I also know I have XCOM and Mass Effect to do. I do want to do a lot of Frozen Synapse, Synapse if I can. Sorry, somebody corrected me once upon a time into Synapse, which I believe it is. Synapse is the proper way. It's at least how Mode 7 says it, and how I normally say it. But I'm trying to come up with the right balance between everything. I'm going to go a little heavy on Frozen Synapse where I can, but not to a point of alienating people who want to see some other things. So it might be that I do some of this instead of XCOM 2 for a bit. But we'll see how that turns out. And if you did enjoy the Elder Scrolls stuff, Ego, I did get a chance to record a new episode yesterday. We do make a little bit of story progress, so that will be tomorrow at 7 in the usual places. All right, I think I'm gonna add the sniper to the strike team just to see how it goes. And I think there was a simple contract that the strike team could take care of. I don't see a huge benefit in just keeping 2 squads idle. So it's not my ideal use of the strike team, but at the very least, it gives my my other team a chance to sort of heal. I suppose I can also consider buying a building, but I don't think buying buildings... Okay, new incursion. I don't think buying buildings gives me additional funding. I believe completing contracts does. So Sonata forces have surrounded our transport, and we are attempting to recover their unit. We need to send reinforcements immediately. We'll provide some support. Okay, so... I'm going to send Strike Team instead to do that, and if we can, we'll get... Let's just take a quick look. Well, I don't like doing it, but I am going to send the partial squad in this case. Squad has encountered some resistance. They appear to be trying to take out the captured unit to prevent us from analyzing it. Alexandra, you must protect Olsen for 30 seconds so that we can bring in the extraction team. Cover the area generally as well. There may be other Sonata units on the way. Our squad will support you. Okay. This is going to be tricky. So I'm assuming in terms of setup, there's not a lot that I can do here. This is probably suicide. Cool. I think this is a really good one to start using next unit on. At this point, I just kind of want to generally spray down the long-range units where I can. This is the sniper, isn't it? Oh, crap. Okay, so for some reason, I guess the car counts as like full cover in this case. That's not terrible news actually, now that I think of it. So instead, okay, that gives me a whole new set of things to think about if this is full cover now. So it seems to me the only place where it could be coming from would be the street. I'm sure I'm going to find out that's not the case to sort of my detriment, but... right.
System.
We'll see where this goes. I think this is like 6 turns that I need to keep this guy alive, so... We'll see where they commit and see if there's anything interesting that comes out of this. Alright, so I lost one of my assaults already. Alright, so if I'm going to do that, I need to commit. Ah, damn it. So the big problem here is this guy's probably going to be able to run around and take out our guys. Holy smokes. Okay, that's not so good. I am okay with them annihilating each other if that's what it takes. Let's see how this goes.
Hostile neutralized. You have failed.
Ugh! I managed to take out the captured unit. This is an unmitigated disaster. It was indeed. So let's see how that... I am going to be a total cheeseball and reset the mission because I need to learn what went wrong. So obviously I made a big mistake by thinking that these were partial cover. But let's see how this thing broke apart. We'll focus on the upper part first. Okay. And then on the lower end. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and then we didn't deal with that in time. So we're just clean slate. So I guess the first question is this a great space for my sniper? Not really. It gives me something to work with, so we'll start there. I'm kind of interested in keeping this guy. Okay. So I think I'm sending this guy to their death. But okay, so everybody's doing something this round. The problem is I think the guy who's down here is going to get hit by these guys up above, but it also seemed that the AI put a lot of focus on the north, so I'm kind of curious to see how this turns out. And unless I was misclicking, I don't seem to be able to control the unit we're defending, so not so good. Okay, I am okay with that trade-off. I'm not crazy about the fact that I lost a couple of assault units. Because that's going to make life really tricky for me. I feel like I have ways of working with that. And this is dumb because they're never going to actually be able to attack. Oh, hang on. Apparently, no, yeah, so I need to decide right or left. I'm gonna make a guess on the right. And part of that's motivated by... I'm actually gonna move just off to the side like that. Part of that's motivated because that's on the way to the target. We'll see how it goes. I think that submachine gunner gets chewed up, but... Okay, so obviously my guess was wrong, but we did get... Okay, so... Let's see if this... Yeah, so there's nothing that's gonna save the SMG. Yeah, so my sniper gets nailed if I do that, so... My sniper is not helpful at all in this situation. So best I think I can hope for here is a duck. Yeah, he's done for. I don't see this accomplishing anything, but we'll see. If nothing else, I can give him give him something to shoot at that's not the main target. Oh yeah, this is not going to end well for him. Got more hostiles entering the area.
System primed.
It's not looking great, but we'll see how it turns out. How did he get distracted like that? I'm gonna do a full restart on this. We had a decent enough start, and it all kind of fell apart. But I want to wean myself off of these like committing turns, knowing that I can completely reverse all the decisions. So I'm basically gonna treat my sniper as invariant. This is basically a suicide run for the SMG guy, but I want to see how it works. And very slowly. Actually. Again, the challenge is that this guy's probably going to get hit in the head from these guys up above.
System primed.
Okay, I'm genuinely surprised that worked as well as it seemed to, so. I kind of feel like I need to have this guy helping out with these guys in the north. I think I'm assuming that they're not going to be a problem. Okay. So 1 second and then they run in to take anything else. Alright, well he gets wiped out, but
System primed.
they're obviously not going to be standing still either, so.
Hostile neutralized. Hostile neutralized.
Okay, so I lost the SMG, unfortunately. As more or less the planner told me I would, so I really only have myself to blame there. I definitely prefer the idea of using the sniper to be focusing on these areas. Like, I'm just gonna keep I mean, we're at least keeping these guys at bay right now. It was dumb of me to lose the SMG like that, but...
Hostile neutralized.
Okay. So... they're basically running in guns blazing. They've also got really great cover. I did not think at all about this. I wonder if the duck will save him. Neat. So I guess the big thing for me to remember right now is I just need to hold them at bay. I don't actually need to kill them all, so we'll lock into this position here. Oh, I'm glad, Isis. I have no idea if this is actually any fun to watch. Alright, well, I've deployed some of our support forces to assist you. Good, because I just lost a really good unit. You've cleaned the whole living room. The music and the commentary is... Okay, so that's gonna... I did not expect a strategy game like this to be... Thank you for the host. I did not expect a strategy game like this to be the relaxation choice for you, but I can see it working. Cool.
Hostile neutralized.
So the plan here is this guy's going to be moving back, and I will hopefully... You're trying to read, but you just keep watching the stream. Sorry, Mr. Pringleman. That's definitely a testament to the quality of the game that Mode 7 Games have put out, though, so buy early, buy often. Even if you don't want the DRM-free and highly recommendable GOG version of the game, this is definitely a game that I would like to see supported. Of course, if that support just comes in the form of showing it and telling your friends about it, that's fine too. I know not everybody's able to, or wants to, pick up something like this. So obviously I'm gonna need to heal up this group, but we made it. Good work, Alexander. We'll take it from here. Well, more medium work, but that kind of came together. It came together in the end. I'm clearly not ready for multiplayer. Denizen Velour of Blue Sunlight has requested a call. I'll have Balakwa patch her in. Word has come to us of the recent Sonata activity. It's understandable that the population are concerned, but ultimately this bold assertion of chaos is their best interests. Could you clarify? Some of us here are not familiar with your beliefs. Certainly. You and I are not simply bodies and minds, but vehicles and functions. The function exists independently and may be transferred between vehicles or even transmitted to become part of the landscape. Sonata is employing chaos to liberate the conscious functions of the elect in order to gather them to herself. She will bring them to paradise in the glory of her union. She is not acting out of aggression, but expressing her boundless mercy. Death is simply the removal of armor after the battle is won. Thank you, Denizen. I will take your words under advisement. She's disconnected. What a load of chuff. Alexander, I'll be in touch when Breitling has completed their analysis. Okay. Barrington Fontaine from Greyline South is on the line. I could hear Wolf Martin barking at those Sonata units, Potentate. They must have been very unpleasant. So definitely send those guys home. What else do we have? MPS is on a mission right now, so yeah, I'm short on manpower at the moment. I'm really curious about these municipal code violations. Pick up. I have a call coming through. I entered politics to help form the Rebuild Coalition with the remaining elements of the Republic military, Breitling University and Diamond Brothers shortly after the realization. It was a difficult time. I had just lost my son in the fighting. He was working for a neo-nomad. He thought he could pull them in a better direction, do some course correction. That was always his approach, reason others out of their madness. He truly believed that was possible, right up until the final months. I tried to get him to leave, but he was so convinced that he could sway them. It was a point of honor for him. He just needed to say the right combination of words, and then somehow they would control Charon's palm and bring everyone back on side. Instead, we had to spend years purging every last element of Charon from the system. It was exhausting on top of everything else. They're on the way. I hope I wasn't just leaving them out, but I probably was. Orders, just drop it off, nothing special. Hello, Potentate Nurks. I hope it wouldn't be too long before we had a chance to get acquainted. I am Postmaster Zorbaz, Englander of the Parcel Tossers. I think our factions would benefit from closer ties. I propose we sign a treaty. Sure. Melee Mage, great to see you again. No, not a problem at all. As XKCD points out, it used to be code compiling was the excuse to goof off in the office. Now apparently it's training your machine learning models, but I always appreciate you hanging out. I'm sorry I've not gotten a chance to see more of your stuff. I know you've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter lately, but I know the hours are not always that welcome. Alright, we're just gonna keep everybody at home while they heal for the moment. Diamond Brothers doesn't like us. Word is spreading about how you managed to get the job done for Parcel Tossers recently. You're gaining a reputation as an efficient contractor. I don't suppose you'd be interested in a treaty. Oh, this is neat to see the the graph. So Breitling. All right, we're just gonna wait for our guys to heal. Yes, we'd like to store the bond. We're okay for money, but I'd like a little bit more until we're good. All right, looks like we've got another Sonata incursion, so I don't get to heal my units. I need to figure out which one is not completely. Okay, so we've got 2 assault guys, and we're still down a pistol. And here, so it's 135 minutes or 54 minutes. So as much as I would love to bring Pistol Bro back, in this case we will send our parcel squad. This will probably be the last mission of the night just because of the hour. So I was trying to extract the yellow pistol unit I've highlighted here. We need to eliminate them before they go anywhere. Make sure to cover the exits. Okay, so what are we looking at here? That would be absolutely insane if they could escape using this. Okay, so the snipers are my biggest worry. Always a pleasure, Melee Mage. I hope you have a good one. I'm slightly curious how this works with the... So I do want to make sure that I'm sticking behind these bits of cover where I can. Nope. Something like that. All right. I'm not enthusiastic, but we'll see how it goes.
System primed.
Oh.
You are victorious.
Ah, yes, that'll do it. I'll disconnect you. Cool. Well, that's good, because this guy was about to get in the throat. Base, Graham Awan from Clearhold. You did a perfectly fine job of getting here on time, Alexander. Okay, so I guess this isn't the last mission. It's less clear to me when I want to start buying buildings. In one sense, I sort of get it because incursions are going to become a bit of a bigger deal. So my response time is going to become a bit of a factor. But at this moment, I seem to have just been gobbling up all of the relics without real consequence. And again, we're just waiting. I do actually want my my teams to be at full strength before I do anything, so excellent. Again, it's not glamorous work, but we will accept it, and we'll send the strike team, although I have a feeling that I'm going to have to redirect them somewhere else. Nice. So I'm going to reorganize this. They're going back to base, and my delivery group is going to be the one. So this is mostly just the original setup that I had for my squad, so I'm finally restoring that. Although now, obviously, my delivery crew is stronger than my strike team. Or actually, that's not entirely true anymore. Sure, retreat. That's one thing that's a little, I haven't quite been able to figure out. It seems like I don't, like if there's some other activity happening in this location, oh god, I did it wrong, didn't I? Hang on, so the strike team has the package, even though I sent these guys to go pick it up. Fair enough. I think that's because I had to retreat the building. Anyways, it's a little, it's just a little unusual that even though you know you're moving out, because the game's given you an action that you're forced to the game's given you an action that you're forced to do, you wind up kind of creating a little more work for yourself and seemingly triggering a bug, but I really don't like claiming things are bugs unless I know for sure. Sonata has mounted an attack on a lab where we are analyzing the captured unit. We're requesting immediate backup from the system lock. We'll deploy immediately. Okay, so this is what we make the strike team for. Actually, while we're at it, we can do a contract, so... Send our folks out, see which mission comes up first. Alright, so it looks like the raiders get hit first. The raider forces have decided to show themselves. Oh, just that. Oh, this is... okay, so these are just pistols. I think I can work with this. Of course, I mean, that's... that's the kind of arrogance that's going to wind up getting me completely dominated in this, but... think we'll just do an opener like this to get people in position.
System primed. Hostile neutralized.
Don't you? That was dramatic. Okay, so at this point here, I'm going to try and take advantage of the range with the SMG here. This guy is gonna. So I am slightly curious what happens with. Okay, so we do win. So the best case scenario is obviously I get my flame unit in a great spot to just roast these guys, but and I still think coming from behind is the best path here. So let's lock that in. Okay, well, I know how I'm handling this. So. I want to be careful I don't roast my own guy, but. I want to slightly work on the timing on this, but. Okay, yeah, so that's roughly where I want it to be. And then in the meantime, this guy will bring up the rear. So the ideal is they all mob to the front. I don't think that's going to happen, but... Well, bloody close! Alright, but one of them did sneak around, so... I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. We'll cancel the aim on this guy, we'll get him to just cover a sneaky move up the middle. Wasn't it though? Actually, yeah, so for those of you, you know what? I gotta remember the showmanship here, because I am still learning the game. So let's just see that again in
Hostile.
Do you get to? You do have an habit. It's actually a thing I was not aware of. So you can do this in multiple ways. It's a little hit. So if you lose the mission, it will give you these options. It's a little hidden though. So if you go under game options, you can restart the mission. You can also restart from the last turn. So this is kind of how I've been playing. So when I first got the key for this game a week, or basically on Thursday, the last time I cast it, actually, I kind of just did the tutorial and that was it. Now I'm familiar with Frozen Synapse, but there are some variations in here that I still need to learn, especially with the map. So a lot of my approach tonight has been to do a lot of like, let's just... So there is a little bit of a plan, which I may not have been doing a great job of explaining, but like I do have some ideas behind what I'm doing. I'm not just randomly trying strategies, but when I sort of feel like things went wrong in a way that I didn't expect them to go wrong, I usually take that opportunity to rewind. And slowly over time, I've been trying to make it more that you know, if I just did something dumb or something careless, I try to keep those consequences, which is why I wound up wasting so much time regenerating my shape forms. But the game is very forgiving in terms of giving you... So the original Frozen Synapse, you did mission to mission, and that was the whole structure. There wasn't this like city map, so you couldn't restart your mission partway through. And I feel like the trade-off that they made in this game was that there were lots of missions and there was lots of variety, and the importance of a given mission is sort of based on what's happening in the context of this higher level game, the city level. And what they did was, for single player, when you had an individual encounter where something unexpected happened, or maybe something really devastating, or basically you just want to figure out how things work, you can actually go back at a specific turn and try new ideas. And I like that a lot because I think that's how you get better at games like this. And again, I really want to show the flamethrower move again.
Hostile neutralized.
That might get a clip. But yeah, so that's a really long answer to your question, but absolutely it does. And it I feel it does it in a way that I think is particularly suited to making the game easier to learn. All right, I think that's...
System primed.
Obviously they'll be moving, but I've kind of got all three places taken care of.
You are
Oh.
victorious.
I definitely wasn't expecting them to go aggressive like that, but... So, obviously that didn't pay a lot, but... how are we doing for time? I have 3 minutes, so I'll move my squad. I don't think we're going to have enough time to do the story mission, though, so... We'll maybe do a little bit of a debrief at the end. Okay. Obviously, we'll intact the incursion, but I think I will leave it through. Yeah, absolutely. Haven't had it. Like I was mentioning this a little bit earlier. We've connected you to the Breitling system, Alexander. We need you to defend the lab from Sonata while they attempt to analyze Olsen. This is Robin Sheriff, one of our technical analysts. You'll need to protect them while they work on the Sonata unit. Try to keep them alive. Yes, not being dead would really help me do my job. Our units have only just arrived. You need to start them from their current positions. You'll have to secure the area for 60 seconds, so 10 turns. Oh, and Sonata brought some rocket launchers, but you probably don't need to worry about that too much. Well, maybe a bit. Okay, actually you should worry about it significantly. I would be massively concerned about it, personally, if I were you. And on that bombshell... I'll leave you with the music. So yeah, it is very nice to be back. Oh yeah, sorry, Habit, I was going to say. So normally on Mondays we do Paradox Grand strategy games, and I get this question a little bit less often now, and I think it's because the people who want to try these games have already found me. And like, I'm obviously not an Arumba or a Quill 18, so people have better options in terms of specific educational content. But one of the main things that I recommend for those games, because they have a lot of complexity to them, is as fun as it is for me to play those games on Iron Man mode, and it's really the most rewarding to play them in my opinion, the best thing to do is to play in a mode that lets you save at lots of different stages, and when you do something and it doesn't turn out the way that you expected, to go back and see how you would do it differently. Because one of the things that's really big about games like the grand strategy ones, and this game to a lesser degree, it's a different form of learning that happens. When it's a grand strategy game, what normally happens is you have to make plans. You have to make long-term plans for your success. If you're only focusing on what's happening to you right now, if you're only reacting, then chances are you're going to run into an insurmountable problem down the road. But the problem is that sometimes you don't know what you need to plan for, and so you beat your head against, so if you can have this great 10-year plan, but if you struggle with individual combat and understanding why certain units are better against other ones, it's not going to help you to think about what's happening in 10 years, because what if the other guy plays differently from what you were expecting? So that's the kind of learning that happens in grand strategy games. Now, that could be what's happening in the city game, and I haven't seen it yet, because obviously the game has introduced rocket launchers, and I don't have enough money for a rocket launcher. I had the option of getting one, but I didn't opt for it. So what I think is interesting about Frozen Synapse 2, and this was true of the tactical game in Frozen Synapse 1, but they've added more to it, which is this concept of time to kill, where there's no randomness in the game. And what you need to do is you need to put a plan in place that will create the maximum number of advantages for you, and sort of create as many obstacles as possible. So let's say the simplest case, you've got 2 assault units facing off against each other. You know, you're like, okay, we both run, and they have just a hair's breadth more speed than me for whatever reason. So what are some of the things I can do? Well, maybe I can try and run to that cover. It's like, okay, I do that, but I die. But do I have enough time to go to that cover and duck? I have enough time to go to that cover and duck. That's cool. So then you say, well, can I stand up and aim at the guy? Can I predict roughly where they're going to be? Do I have a better idea in terms? And you can start seeing, right? The things that will affect your ability to aim are whether or not you're moving, whether or not you're aiming in the right direction, or if you're precisely aiming on someone. Whether or not you're behind cover will extend their time, and as a result, in a one-on-one firefight, it'll give you an advantage. And then, of course, you have the fact that there's multiple units running all over the place. And if you think that somebody's going to be targeting one area while you're sneaking around behind, you can use that to your advantage. So, unlike a grand strategy game where what you're trying to learn is to manage the complexity in a way that will allow you to build long-term strategies, where I think Frozen Synapse 2 becomes really interesting is you've got a fairly simple concept of time to kill. And by the way, this exists in first-person shooters as well. This is the thing that I think is so interesting about this game. So if you are particularly quick with your mouse and, you know, you've got a bit of a twitch or you've got a sense of space, your ability to detect your enemy, move over onto them, and get that kill shot will ultimately be what determines your success in that match. And then, of course, there's lots of different variables, such as, are there other players? Am I trying to dodge somebody else's attacks on me? Do I have less health than what I did before? But where this occurs in a first-person shooter is in real time, and there's a different set of skills, which are no less impressive or no less important. Those missed bullets that look random are just a visual. Exactly, Habanabbit. That's exactly what's going on there. A great example of this would be, there's a couple of situations, I think even earlier on in the playthrough tonight, where I had like a pistol guy standing, aiming at a door, and a guy comes through it, and the aim was exactly where the person would be, so it was one shot, one kill. That, of course, happens very rarely because so there was a comment made a little bit earlier about the fact that I wasn't putting the diamonds directly over the units, and that was very deliberate because I prefer to do generalized strategies that don't rely on me having precision aim, because generally the other unit, you notice I only sometimes use the enemy movement, and it's mostly for me to do some robustness checks on a plan that I'm doing. And part of this is that very rarely the AI actually just stands and takes it. So I tend to put the diamond in places where I think it might give me a little bit of use. Oh yeah, absolutely. There definitely will be a VOD, so I always record my streams. The Twitch VOD will be, and by the way, it's a 3-hour cast, so I don't think, I'm not sure it will profit you to to search all 3 hours to find that one time the shot goes where it was supposed to. I mean, if you want to watch my stuff, I'm not going to tell you no. But if you want to watch it on Twitch, it'll be up for 2 hours, and then hopefully within 48 hours I'll have this uploaded onto YouTube, so you'll be able to see that as well. But yeah, you'll have two different. Basically, after 2 weeks, the only place you can watch it'll be on YouTube. But until that time, you'll be able to see it on my videos. Hey, Colt Diggity, I'm actually just wrapping up now. I'm so sorry. I saw the viewer number increment by 1. I was like, oh, somebody's gonna get very sad. I'm very happy to see you. I'm sorry I've been gone for a week. Ottawa got hit with 2 tornadoes, and I was without power for a really long time, and emotional distress and all these other things. We're now 6 followers away from the 2000 celebration. I'll probably put a little bit of a padding inside because I'm definitely gonna lose one, but we're definitely gonna give and take a little bit on these things. But I'm definitely looking forward to doing that celebration before the end of the year. Heading to bed soon. And for Ottawa, yeah, we did. I mean, I got off relatively light. But I was without power for a very long time. So, and that was a very interesting experience, which you can probably hear more about at the beginning of the cast on the VOD. But yeah, I'll probably talk about it another time too. But I did want to wrap up. Yeah. So again, this time to kill idea is a really neat one, and it's one that there's a lot of nuance behind it. Like it's something that I think is easy enough to understand after you've done the tutorial. But obviously it's sort of the heart and soul of the interactions in the game. And it's one that I feel like I have some work to do in terms of really locking in my strategies. Like the insane mode of this game is one where you build a strategy and the AI gets to see what you're doing and plans around that. So presumably it is possible to play this game so well that you just have unbeatable game plans no matter what the enemy does. And I would love to get so good that I could do that. But I'm definitely not at that level yet. So I didn't quite get 3 days. I was probably closer to two and some change. But yeah, I should probably clean out my freezer. Anyways, guys, I'm filibustering the end. Thank you again. It is, especially when, so on a personal and a caster note, I talk about the numbers. I try not to let them be something that really drives me one way or the other on broadcasting, but I do take them as feedback. And especially when, I have a week away, and especially an unexpected week away. Obviously, any of you who cast know you will see follower numbers fall just as a result of that. Just for being away from Twitch, there is a penalty that you pay. And I think that is one that is worth paying, by the way, because time away from this thing is really important. Even if you do this professionally, like real jobs have holidays. Twitch, if you wanna treat Twitch as a real job, you should be booking some time for yourself. And then obviously sub numbers, technically there's a monetary side to that, but you guys have been really generous with that. So I can't complain with some people saying that it's not worth continuing. Like obviously, there are lots of other casters. Sometimes people want to put that support somewhere else, and that's totally fine. That is the way these things work. But with that in mind, it is difficult, especially when you know that it's not your own fault that you're not casting. It is easy to get a little discouraged from that. So I generally didn't know how many people would be showing up, and I especially didn't know how many people showing up would be expecting Paradox and would react negatively to Frozen Synapse 2. So I did want to take a minute and say thank you to all of you for hanging out and making this a very welcome trip back. And also another thank you to Mode 7 Games, because I knew I would like Frozen Synapse 2, but it wasn't clear to me whether or not it would be something that I would do on cast or if I would buy it right away. I mean, I kind of think I would buy it right away, but I wasn't sure. But I did get the press key. I really regret that I didn't get a chance to do it as quickly as I wanted. I did feel really bad about that. But I do plan on playing more of this. And I like the game a lot. There's definitely, we've run into a couple of bugs, but nothing that broke the playthrough for me yet. And it's on the basics, it's more of the same that I liked about the original Frozen Synapse. But I think the city game has really brought in the stuff that I enjoy about XCOM as well. It's added a layer that appealed to me quite a bit. I perhaps missed the idea of a skirmish mode against the AI, but it's not a deal breaker for me. And I kind of feel that if I really want a skirmish mode against the AI, it's not like Frozen Synapse went away. And then, of course, as is pretty much expected at this point from a Mode 7 game, it's got an absolutely gorgeous soundtrack, which I will probably be... I think I said I was going to buy it last stream, and I didn't do that, so I will go and buy that now. But anyways, this extended goodbye was just a chance for me to say thank you. I'm happy to be back. For those of you who've been enjoying the Elder Scrolls, we do have another. We have another. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. We do have another. We do have another episode of the Elder Scrolls Arena. For those of you not aware of what this is, I am playing all of the Elder Scrolls games. I have played a little bit of Skyrim. I have not played any of the others. I am doing the Elder Scrolls #1 as a Dark Elf spellsword, and I am doing the character's voice, like, with my Dark Elf voice. Do you want to know what my Dark Elf voice sounds like? Well, you'll have to watch that. So that will be live on Twitch at 7 p.m. There will also be a video of it because it's recorded ahead of time. So if I don't respond in chat, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's because it's pre-recorded. It'll be the 4th episode. If you guys want to see the earlier stuff, it's all there on YouTube. And it's in a playlist, so it's easier to navigate than my other stream stuff. So that's something I'm trying to do every Tuesday. I am trying to come up with another VOD thing to do on Thursdays, but that's I'm actually dependent on another person for that. So Arena was the first one you tried, but only a little. Daggerfall was your all-time favorite game for a long time. Daggerfall looks really good. This is actually, so here's a quick, sorry, I'm turning this into an AMA instead of Frozen Synapse. I struggled to get into Skyrim, which I realize is heresy, but I'm enjoying Elder Scrolls Arena a lot, and I think it's actually the way that I'm going to be able to get into. It was some like it's. I think it's the way that I'm actually going to get into the other Elder Scrolls games. But with that in mind, Elder Scrolls Arena is a surprisingly good game to me, and I kind of suspected I would enjoy it, but I did not realize how much I would enjoy it. So we made a little bit of progress in the story. I'm not going to say exactly what happens on the episode tomorrow, otherwise there's no reason to watch it. But I'm trying my best to have that available on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock every Tuesday. And I'm going to try and record as many episodes as ahead of time as I can, so that I can maintain that schedule and not have to worry about things like power outages. And yeah, the rest of it we'll talk about on Twitter and whatnot. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as usual. The games we've been rotating through right now have been XCOM 2, Frozen Synapse 2, and Mass Effect 2. So as long as you're a sequel... Oh, and Mondays we'll be doing Crusader Kings 2. So as long as you're a sequel, I will play you. Maybe Victoria 2 at some point. No promises. Alright, let's find somebody to host tonight. You know what? Outworld is doing Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. I never got a chance to play Ghost Recon, the original. I own it. I got it through GOG, as I get all my old stuff, and some of my new stuff. But Outworld's a really nice guy. He's an Australian streamer, has some world records, I believe, for Mortal Kombat 2 speedruns, or at least used to. Definitely brands the stream around Mortal Kombat. And definitely somebody who I recommend that you check out. He's a really nice guy, loves Ghost Recon, so if you've never tried it, he will probably be your best bet to understanding the love of it. And of course, it matches with the tactical theme, so if you want to know what the shape forms are doing at the ground level, you can enjoy Outworld. So with that, thank you everybody for watching, and I will leave you in the capable hands of my Australian friend.